look at the Haitians. They're just gobbling up kittens and dogs and ducks and, geese, Canadian geese. They're just gobbling those things up, putting them on the barbecue, eating them. And mainstream media is just losing their minds. We're going to cover a couple of articles here. And what I want you to see is just how far mainstream media goes to cover this issue, because it doesn't look good for Democrats. Let's get into it. Here we go. All right. We got the Ohio Governor DeWine says 33 bomb threats have been made in recent days. They're all hoaxes. And a bunch of them are from Haiti. Why do you have bomb threats coming in on Haitian immigrants eating cats? Well, because people are upset that this is going on. And they're like, the whole thing is just an enormous cluster. But if you Google this, if you Google a search for Haitians eating pets, all of the articles are, false news, misinformation, debunked theory. It's been debunked from the second that it's come up. There's never been any consideration that this might, you bring in 20,000 Haitians, 15,000 on the low end, 15,000 Haitians, and you think there might be a couple of cases of people eating Fluffy the cat and, dog for dinner, duck for dinner. I mean, be realistic. Yeah, that's probably happening. But because it's such a, it's a shocking story. Is my cat going to be eaten? Because it's such a shocking story. And because it reflects so poorly on what happens when you bring 15, 20,000 people into a community of 60,000 people. Yeah, federal government did that. And now they're having to live with the results, and they don't want to because it looks really, really, really bad. So now we've got bomb threats. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. It's crazy, right? Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said that there have been 33 bomb threats in recent days relating to rising tensions over immigrants in Springfield, and each one has turned out to be a hoax. Well, yeah. Kind of like the media's attempt at putting a lid on this topic. Yeah, that's just not a story. I mean, ABC, they confirmed that this was, not an issue during the debate. And you're like, this story's been out for like a day or two, and you went to a community of 60,000 people that's now 75,000. With the additional 15K in Haitians who are known to eat what we consider to be pets. That's just a thing. And you debunked that theory? ABC, you're lying. You are lying. Lying. None of these had any validity at all, DeWine said during a news conference in Springfield Monday afternoon. Springfield has been the subject of heavy scrutiny since former President Donald Trump repeated during last week's nationally televised debate with Kamala Harris the unproven claim that Haitian immigrants there are stealing and eating residents' pets. What about the blue barbecue? What about the residents who testified in City Hall that it's happening? Here's the thing. Logically, does this make sense that, a handful of pets could have been eaten? Does it make sense that you've got 15,000 Haitians in a community, and now Snyder Park in Springfield has fewer ducks, fewer geese, and they're non-migratory? I mean, it's reasonable to think that this is possibly going on. So this whole cover-up thing, it's kind of like the laptop from hell where it's Russian disinfo. Oh, yeah. The FBI had that for a year before they, exposed that they'd had it. And yes, it was the president's, son who was on drugs, putting his wiener out there and lining up some Skittles on his wiener and taking pictures of that. I mean, if that's your thing, go for it. And if eating cats is your thing, I gotta say that that's not the first animal I'd go to eat. Ducks I've eaten many ducks, and I don't think they are particularly tasty, but if you kill it, you must grill it. And so, as a hunter, that's what you do, right? We've moved resources into Springfield, the governor said. People have the right to feel safe. All right, people have the right to feel safe. So then why'd you bring all the Haitians into a small community and they can't drive? What about that? Yeah, you're going to have some cultural issues when you bring that many people in because you're virtue signaling. Oh, we're the greatest community ever. That's what we're doing. People have the right to feel safe. Well, this is a statement made by a Republican governor who is trying to cover for the fact that the federal government has brought in 15,000, 20,000 Haitians, and now they're eating fluffy. Yeah, I said that. Springfield City Hall was forced to evacuate on Thursday because of a bomb threat. 2 schools were evacuated there Friday. 2 hospitals were locked down Saturday because of bomb threats, and 2 more schools were evacuated Monday. Maybe, just maybe, there's some kickback when you basically overrun a community with, third world country immigrants who don't know how to act. Maybe there's some of that. Oh, Sean, we just need to be more supportive of the Haitians. I'm not saying that the Haitians don't need support, but what I'm saying is, you're going to have some flack. You're going to have some issues. There's going to be some shenanigans, and we've got them. I mean, we just know we've got them. You got video of Haitians driving and smacking it. The whole driving thing. They don't know how to drive, and they're getting permits to drive, day one. Here, 45-day permit. Go for it. Let's see how this goes. Most notable of the resources DeWine pledged was an allocation of security personnel to every school in Springfield. These are the repercussions for poorly made immigration decisions. So now you got to lock down your schools because people are pissed because there's a rumor that the fluffy's been eaten. Earlier Monday, Springfield Mayor Rob Rue said that he and his family are now getting death threats. Rue told ABC6 Daryl Rowland during a Zoom interview that other city leaders are also getting death threats, some of whom have been targeted by swatting calls. You don't know what a swatting call is? It's Tim Pool's had a bunch of them. It's when somebody calls in and says something horrific is going on in your residence. And it's just basically, they bring in a SWAT team, they bring in police, they bring in, heavy law enforcement because something horrific is supposed to be going on. And it's basically just designed to absolutely disrupt, what's going on. So I've received death threats against myself, my family, he said. I believe other commissioners have received death threats and other cities' staff members have received threats. Well, I'm not condoning the death threats. Nobody's condoning that. I mean, that's ridiculous. Threatening to take somebody else's life, but to think that you're not going to have any pushback, when you do this kind of thing, it's ridiculous. It's right. Everybody has the right to feel safe. How about the residents of Springfield who have to deal with 15,000 folks from Haiti who don't know how to behave? What about that? I'm not saying all of them don't know how to behave, but a certain percentage are consistently coming up in news stories. And the stories are all the same, right? The sort of stories are all the same. Don't know how to act in grocery stores. Can't drive worth a crap. You've got the whole voodoo thing. Haiti, voodoo. It's not unreasonable to imagine that this is going on. You got some animal sacrifices. That's not unreasonable to think that this is going on. But the mainstream media is just so hell-bent on covering this stuff. Oh, yeah, that's misinformation. That's been debunked. Trump and running mate DJ Vance, here we go, have been circulating the story about the Haitian immigrants, while Rue and other Springfield officials have said on several occasions that those stories are not true. What about the blue barbecue? What about that one? What about people, literally going to your city council meetings and documenting what's going on? What about the fact, aside those rumors, how about your housing prices have gone through the roof? Your rent has gone through the roof. People are pissed about that. People are upset about that. And I'm not hearing that those stories are Russian, misinfo, that those have been debunked. No, you've got real world issues that are happening. People are upset. And the fact that Fluffy might be eaten by a Haitian, that's upsetting to them as well. It's a ridiculous rumor, Rue said. I think the more that this is thrown out there as a debunked theory, the more that it's thrown out there, it leads me to believe that it's true. it leads me to believe that it's accurate. Because if it wasn't, you just say, yeah, I mean, we don't even need to go over that. That's already been debunked. It's not a thing. But the more that the media covers for this type of topic, it makes me think, okay, we're onto something here. This is a go. This is real world. And if you think about it from the standpoint of, does it make sense? Does it make sense if you dump 15,000 Haitians into a small community that there's a possibility that that's happening? Fluffy is being eaten. There's, plenty of videos where people are saying, we used to have a lot of cats just roaming around here. But there's no feral cats anymore. They're all gone. They disappeared. And the duck and the goose population from Snyder Park has dropped from 100 down to maybe a dozen. Where'd the rest of them go? They just decided magically one day to start migrating. They're down in Florida now. They're down. No, I don't think so. Does the fact that a bunch of ducks left Snyder Park, does that prove that the Haitians put them on the barbecue, that same blue barbecue? No, it doesn't. But it does make you wonder. And then when you've got mainstream media trying so hard to cover this topic, you're like, okay, all right, okay. ABC6 tried to verify a social media post that sparked some of the political firestorm. ABC6 contacted a man who posted a photograph of a person carrying a goose, but it wasn't clear if he had taken the photo or where it was taken. He did not share the photo with ABC6 for us to authenticate it, and he declined to let us interview him. It was taken in Dayton, Ohio, and I believe it was a legit photo, and Natural Resources went out to investigate because they were able to get a location of where that was from. So did that look like a fake photo to you? That's it's the Haitian carrying the Canadian goose by its feet, and its wings are just all sprawled out because it's upside down and it's dead. Did that look like a fake to you? It didn't to me either. And the fact that, maybe this is actually happening, yeah, it's conceivable. It's conceivable. In another case, a man called 911 in August to report what he claimed were 4 Haitian immigrants stealing geese from a park in Springfield, Ohio. We've heard J.D. Vance talk about that. Attorney General Dave Yost slammed the media for not checking into that story. But last week, when ABC6 contacted that caller who did not wish to be interviewed, he said he had followed up with police in the Ohio DNR. Ohio DNR then debunked that story and said it found no evidence that such a crime had been committed. Well, because they went out there, they went to the location, they looked around and they're like, well, there's no dead goose. There's no Haitian carrying a dead goose. There's no sign of anything. Does that mean it's debunked? Does that mean it didn't happen when that photo was taken? No. But media runs with that part. It's been debunked. That's been debunked. No, it hasn't. Another story about a woman who allegedly killed a cat and ate it in front of neighbors originated in Canton, Ohio, about 173 miles away from Springfield. She's been arrested and now faces several charges. And that woman is an Ohio native. Okay, that one was, I think she crushed the cat's head and then literally ate it in front of somebody. She is just deranged. She's deranged. So, crazy people don't necessarily count. We're not talking crazy Ohio natives are eating cats. So that story, and one sideways story, because a crazy person ate a cat, doesn't mean that the Haitians aren't eating cats. On Friday, Trump was asked during a rally in California if he'd consider visiting Springfield. He said he might, which prompted this reaction from Rue, a Republican. I think if either candidate comes to our city, it's going to be difficult for us because they're so overwhelmed. Their resources are being sucked up because they allowed 15,000, 20,000 Haitians into their community. And this is what happens when you've got all of these folks that are wildly upset that this is going down in their town. And then you got a bunch of people calling in from Haiti. I mean, they're not coming right out and saying Haiti, but they're saying it's folks from out of the country. Folks from another country, another part of the world are calling in. Okay. All right. So here's another story. Ohio City, at center of pet eating rumor. It's now a rumor. All right. I'd say we got enough evidence that we just run with this. And Ohio City, at center of pet eating incidents, receives bomb threats, as you're going to, as people are upset. They don't want their cat to get eaten. They're a little wacky. They call in a bomb threat. Springfield City Hall in Ohio was evacuated Thursday in response to a bomb threat, as the city is at the center of a conspiracy theory. Now it's a conspiracy theory. Okay. Accusing Haitian immigrants of eating pets that former President Trump and others shared. You know what? You know what I say? So they're eating some pets. So they're eating some geese. So they're eating some ducks. You know what I mean? Just tell them, hey, here in the United States, we don't really do that. That's a no-go. End of story. That'd be the best thing you can do is just confirm, hey, yeah, that's going on. But we've kind of told them they didn't really understand because, in Haiti, you don't have a government that just hands out food left, right, and center. That is not a thing. So if somebody sees a, piece of protein that happens to have some fur on it running down the street, they might scoop it up and eat it. They see a really healthy Canadian goose down in a park and they've been told, hey, just go down there and get dinner. It's not that inconceivable that this is happening. The big picture: Trump shared the rumor on national television during Tuesday's presidential debate, but it had gained traction online via social media posts from right-wing influencers and GOP vice presidential nominee Senator J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance also said, hey, this could be a complete rumor as well. But they don't add that in there, do they? No. Then we go on to talk about the bomb threats, and it's possible the rumors will turn out to be false. They put the J.D. Vance thing down further down in the thing. Okay, I don't think it is. I think you've got enough information there. If this was a wildly out of context story, I might be inclined to say, yeah, like I'll give you an example. The whole concept of Tren de Aragua absolutely taking over the 3 apartment complexes, and that the city of Aurora, Colorado, had been overrun by Tren de Aragua. Well, that wasn't out of context either, but you also didn't have enough proof that that was actually happening. And then, the media just went absolutely ham to cover that up. And now we know that is probably what happened. You had management company, you had attorneys involved writing letters back and forth to the city saying, hey, these projects have been wildly overrun by Tren de Aragua. We need help to get them under control. City officials knew well ahead of that story that this was happening. August 9th, they knew that had happened. They knew that was a thing. But the media was so complicit in covering for them. Oh, that's not happening. There's no Tren de Aragua here. It's not happening. It's not a thing. Now you've got Governor Abbott in Texas basically just honing in on Tren de Aragua and saying, hey, we're going to do this, this, and this. Mandatory 10-year minimum sentence, prison sentence for people trafficking, with a bunch of qualifications, just basically going after Tren de Aragua. Because that's their thing. That's their bread and butter, is scooping up young girls and sex trafficking them and human trafficking. That's, they get people into the country illegally. That's what they do. It's their thing. And so we've allowed, thousands of them into the United States, but mainstream media just wants to cover it up. Because again, it's a bad look. You did what with immigration policy? You let all these people in that are now committing these acts of crime? Okay. Not saying eating fluffy is an act of crime, but again, it doesn't look good, does it? The optics aren't that great. I also think this story is hey, look over there at the fluffy being eaten by the Haitian story. I think it's a diversion for something else going on as well. I'm not much of a conspiracy guy, but wouldn't that make sense? Though we'll see some other story pop up here very shortly. But you've always, as we get close to election time, people just get all worked up. And this one has been an interesting one because I think you will see more and more examples of, hey, yeah, cats are protein, dogs are protein. I know here in the U.S. we don't really do that. But, other cultures do. And to say that this theory has been completely debunked based on the fact that, you want it to be debunked, that doesn't really count. It doesn't really count. So I think you'll see more and more stories pop up, and in mainstream media again they will bend over backwards to make sure that it's debunked. Kind of just like the whole Hunter Biden laptop from hell was Russian disinfo, Russian misinfo, according to 51 or 52 former military intelligence officers who were pushing for Biden to get elected, weren't they? Yeah, because they said it sounds like Russian disinfo. They didn't say it was. This has been debunked. It's been debunked. ABC so quick to debunk this during the debate. That was, to me, that was my clue of, oh, you've debunked that. An entire town of 75,000 people. You've already sent reporters in and you've questioned everybody involved and you've debunked that. And that's what you're saying to the world. It's been debunked by ABC. Huh. Nah, I don't believe that for a second. So we shall see, right? I think there's enough evidence out there again to say that it's not unreasonable. And this is news for reasonable people. So it's not unreasonable to think that this is probably happening. Let's move on with our lives. And you know what? The bomb threats, those are ridiculous. Nobody needs that. But it's the end result of going so hard on pushing a narrative that may not be true, which is this has all been debunked. That's it for me on this one. Thanks for being here. Catch you up in the next one. Bye for now.